Well, greetings everyone. I have up for sale is a Midway's Space Invaders arcade machine from 1978. As you can see, the machine is clearly working, and it's in demo mode right now. The game is set up with a 8-in-1 gaming board, meaning that you can access over 8 different games within the original circuit board for the Space Invaders game. The game menu can be accessed by pressing the 1 and 2 player buttons simultaneously, and it pulls up the Space Invaders multi-game game selection menu, where you have a choice of 8 different games you can play. The first game is the original Space Invaders. The second game is Space Invaders Deluxe or Space Invaders Part 2. The next game is Lunar Rescue. The fourth game is Balloon Bomber. The fifth game is Jatre Spector. The sixth game is Space Laser. The seventh game is Galaxy Wars. And the eighth game is Super Earth Invasion. And then it reverts back to the menu screen without a selection. You simply have to refresh it. Also, with this 8-in-1 board configuration, it does not permanently alter the existing or the original printed circuit board. It's an add-on IC chip. When you power up the machine, it performs a self-diagnosis where it determines whether all the ROM files are okay. It does a self-check. If you prefer it to remain as an original Space Invaders, it's simple to remove the IC chip with a screwdriver, and you're back to having the original stock Midway Space Invaders machine. The controls and the control panels are in fairly good shape. As you can see, everything is legible. The buttons are all original, and so are the contactors, the micro leaf switches inside of them. With regards to the glass, everything on this machine is original. None of it's aftermarket or reproduction or enhanced or touched up or repaired or refurbished. It aged pretty well, for the exception of some flaking on the red in various points among the bezel that surrounds the outside glass. These could be found around the $100 to $125 price range on eBay for a replacement for the glass if you want a pristine machine, and if this sort of condition is unacceptable to you for your collection. Also, you can find control panels, original, factory new stock if you would, unsold, anywhere in the neighborhood between $50 and $150 for a replacement control panel. But the controls and the monitor, the original Wells Gardner monitor, black and white, with the color overlays, everything is stock. There was one change made to the machine to where there's a separate switch for the backlighting. And what that's done is, if you see in the image now, this is without the backlighting. Now the backlighting is on. That gives the 3D appearance. The screen is actually located towards parallel practically with the control panel, and the image of the screen is reflected with a silver glass mirror, where it appears to be hovering over the moon and the space background. There's a preference. Some people like to play the game this way in the original format. Other people think that the moon and the background deter from the game and distract people. So, as an option, it's wired separately if you'd like to turn it on and off. To return it back to factory original settings, it's just a matter of simply removing the wire. One other alteration was taking the existing coin door hole where there was a knockout for a button. This knockout can be easily replaced. It screws right into place, but a button was placed in there so that you do not have to use quarters to activate the game. Essentially, you just press the button as if you were putting a quarter into the slot to play it. The reason this was done is because the multi-games Some of them do not support free play mode, so that means you would have to insert a coin. And since this is privately owned and for home, the coin button, or credit button if you will, seems to be most appropriate. The artwork on the kick panel is all original. The condition is noted in this video. None of it's been touched up or repainted or altered in any fashion. All the hardware and electronics and components are as built back in 1978, including the side art of this particular Space Invaders cabinet. And you can see it's in acceptable condition, and the power switch is there, along with the original locks for the coin door and the 2 rear service panels for accessing them. Original keys and locks come equipped, as well as spares. Also accompanying this machine, there are 2 spare motherboards, 1 spare daughter board, and 1 spare power board, along with some spare bulbs for the marquee lights, as well as a replacement fluorescent bulb for behind the moon. Also, I could throw in some extra buttons and switches if you like for the control panel, no problem, if you so desire. The asking price for this particular unit is $1,500 cash. The machine is located in my residence at 1500 in zip code 16901, Wellsboro, Pennsylvania. Alrighty, so I think it's time for a little demonstration video. See how. Okay, I have the game set up now to where we can play it, and I have the camera on a tripod for viewing. We're going to go through the menu selection, and of course you move the cursor, if you see it moving up and down, that is by controlling the left and right movement buttons on the control panel. To select a game, you simply press the fire button. In this case, I've selected the Space Invader game. And you see now that you get the prompt screen where there's no credits on the screen, and it gives you basic scoring, and it gives you a little demo of the game on how the game is played. I'm going to go ahead and use the credit button on the coin door to insert 2 credits so that you can see that 2 players can play this game. You notice that the sound works well as the video, and the gameplay is true. True to form as it was originally, not emulated, not a clone, not a pirated copy, but the actual authentic Space Invaders game from 1978, as some of us may remember. Okay, and then of course after the first player dies, the second player can begin their game. There's no issues with the control panel with regards to moving or firing in the game, and there's no issues with the video, with the image on the monitor, and there's definitely no issues with the audio for this particular game. Moving right along, we can stop a game at any time and return back to the game selection menu for the multi-games.